I met a gypsy.
So, could you describe the perfect motocross racer? Like, if you could just pump out the numbers that they should hit, the height, the weight, the strength, like, what would be if you could just fully, ideally build a motocross athlete?
Probably Ken.
Yeah.
He's one. I mean, Chase, of course. Chase is the new breed.
Yeah.
I mean, he's strong as an ox, and it's not because of me really. If he water skis, he's gonna get big. He's just
Yeah,
like
he's
holding on to.
jacked, yeah.
He's just big naturally, and it's not like I'm doing a program like that's getting him big. Like when he was doing great in the outdoors against Tom, like I got all these DMs like, "Oh, you got him on Lance's program. He's taking steroids. He's taking," I'm like, dude, last thing Chase needs is steroids. I mean, never. I mean, he would get so big it wouldn't even be funny. But no, I mean, he chases another one. I mean, it's just different. Ken's 5'10", 160 pounds, strong, very. If I could morph, he's a little very fast twitch.
Yeah.
Like he can't handle a lot of volume like Chase could, as far as like putting in work. Like if I trained him like Chase, he would chase. I mean, not that it's any better or worse. Kenny would
But it's just
he would
different
fry
systems.
himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if I could never put them in the same. Oh, we're just gonna do the same thing because Chase can handle way more volume. And not like I say, it's not a good or a bad thing. Like Dungey could handle the kind of volume, or Lance. Like they're in that same
They just got
category.
that big motor. You hear people.
Not that big. It's just probably their physiology.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can just they're probably a little more slow twitch. They can handle more load and more volume without overtraining. Where you get these guys that are super fast twitch like Ken, who can jump 40 inches of single leg onto a box. It's
Really?
You can see it. Like you can see them when they're working out where they are. Ken's very low volume, high intensity, and he'll do much better.
Yeah.
Where Chase can just outgrind everybody.
Yeah.
And he was like a Lance.
Yeah.
That kind of, and people that try to train with him are going to overtrain because they can't handle that kind of volume. I mean, there's just anyone like, I remember Lance told me he wrecked many careers for people trying to come to Europe and ride just his training program. You can't ride that kind of 500 miles a week, and no one could keep up with him because, and then their careers would never be the same because they were so overtrained.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the same with Chase, and those guys. It's especially when I get them the young guys. No, you can't go do 240s like Chase. You're not there.
It's not your style, bro.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
We'll see, but not yet.
Yeah.
So it's a hard time. I would have a hard time having a program with 6 guys and making them all do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't work. Some guys would flourish, some guys would flounder.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's good that those guys kind of have their own, Chase will do a, 30-minute moto, Tom will do a 20.
Yeah.
And, and they go in the gym and do very similar things. But on different days, some people have different stuff.
Yeah. Kenny is a genetic freak, eh?
Oh.
And like Heiko as well. I mean, how fit his dad is.
Oh, I know.
Into his 50
Yeah,
or whatever. And just his dad's a fucking axe.
Yeah.
And Ken's an axe. And Ken has always been like that.
Always.
And it is wild. Like you watch him play. Like if Kenny decided that he wanted to play FIFA, he would be a professional soccer player playing for Germany.
Yeah.
Like he's
like that.
He's just one of those, natural athletes. How does it? Can you you're saying you can see that he's fast twitch? It's funny because like Ricky Carmichael always says it on the broadcast, like he's a fast twitch athlete, But it's like, how do you see that translate from being able to see it in the gym to seeing it on the bike?
Well, in the gym, it's easy to see when Ken's working out. He bounces like a, and if I did I've always been super, like when I worked, I did a lot of studying of like the Russian, how they trained, for the Olympics in '84. Like they won everything in powerlifting and Olympic lifting.
Steroids.
I don't know. Everyone says that's just like Lance. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they still had, the rep ranges and the intensity and went hard at this time. That's why those Russian guys lasted, 4 Olympics where the Americans would last 2.
Yeah.
Just because they trained smarter. And so I just,
they did though, right? Like they're really,
smarter.
they were really ahead. Obviously they were probably all using steroids as well.
They were.
But in terms of the way they trained, like didn't Russian powerlifters in those early days like really reinvent the way that people train?
Well, it was just I studied. I have a really good friend now, Pavel, who's the kettlebell. He brought the kettlebell to the U.S.
Oh,
He's a close friend of mine now, and I just he has like interpreted all the Russian stuff, and he's showed me all how they did it in the 80s, and
huh.
just just the way they did, the percentages of maxes, and like it was scientific. They had an algorithm for, how 5 by 5 on this day it's 73% of max, and then it's 80% of max, and then it's all about most people go in and just go 90% of max every fucking time they lift,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna fry yourself. You're gonna go nowhere.
Yeah.
Where they were very meticulous, never went above like 85%. Every rep was perfect. Volume was up and down all the time. Just variability of the loads all the time. They were super smart with and it works. I've tested on myself. I'm my own guinea pig. I always get a program. I go, okay, I'm going to see if I can go from a 300-pound bench to 340, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's the people don't realize that the importance of the rep ranges and the intensity and volume and bringing it up and down every week and not doing the same thing. I mean, they had that wired, and I learned so much
In the
from that stuff.
80s.
And still, the records still hold from the. I mean, it's still. I mean, if you look at their stuff, it's still the most scientific. But it's not fun.
Yeah.
You ask Chase, he goes, "Fuck, are we doing the same thing again?" But it's just what works. I go, "Do you want cute or do you want what works?
Yeah.
Do you want me to put you on a Bosu ball with pink weights and curl and press, or put a motocross bar on a rower and it's not going to do anything?" Like,
Yeah.
what? I mean, you're in the gym to get strong and stable. You're not in there to be cute or do anything like a motocross. You do that enough. And I'm here to make you stronger and a better athlete, not a better motocross racer, because that's just going to turn over to that eventually.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.